Now, back to the Chris Beckham Show on News Talk 105.9 WVGA.
All right, back on the Chris Beckham Show on this Friday afternoon. 241-1059 is our number. Let's take a look at your weekend weather forecast. Looks like it's going to be pretty nice. Cloudy outside today with a high of 62 degrees, and right now it's 62 as well. Your low tonight going to be around 47 degrees. Tomorrow, same thing, cloudy. Pretty much a carbon copy of today. Highs mid-60s, lows overnight in the low 40s. Looking on Sunday, some chance of some afternoon showers. 30% chance of rain on Sunday and Monday. Highs will remain in the mid-60s with lows in the 40s. A little bit warmer on Tuesday as that rain starts to move away. Highs in the 70s. As we look at to the extended forecast into next week, pretty nice. Highs mid-70s, lows around 40s, 50s. Sunny skies, no real chance of rain next week after we get through Sunday and Monday. So looks like a pretty nice week and a fairly nice weekend as well. 241-1059, again, is our number. Been taking calls and talking about pit bulls. We've heard from some owners. We've heard from both pro and con this afternoon, those who feel that they are a problem and something should be done, and those who feel that simply is how they're raised. We hope to have a veterinarian on with us on Monday to kind of give us their expert point of view as well. This discussion all comes out of the attack yesterday of a woman here in Valdosta. Reportedly, she was going to her neighbor's house to borrow some grits, and when she did, the neighbor's male pit bull either broke its chain or was unchained and attacked 40-year-old Misty Wino. She was bitten severely in the legs, arms, and head. She was taken to South Georgia Medical Center, and she was pronounced dead at just shy of 2 o'clock yesterday afternoon. Again, her body's been sent to the crime lab for an autopsy, but no information about the owners. There's some reports that the dogs, there are apparently multiple dogs in that home, and that one had been quarantined for a month before at the animal shelter after biting a boy once on the cheek. Later, the dog was found to be okay, so they sent it back to home. And now this is a different dog we had yesterday. So the question remains, and we've heard from folks who own pit bulls who say they're as harmless as a kitten. We've heard other opinions that they may seem harmless now, but you never know when they're going to turn. I think that reputation is certainly there. And when we see an attack in the news, it seems to be they are more prevalent with pit bull dogs than any other dog. Now, it's not the only dog that attacks people. And again, every situation may be a little bit different. You don't know the extenuating circumstances. But I'm not trying to defend either side, simply saying that I think until you know really all of the details on any situation, you can't really judge exactly. But I do think that the fact the numbers of attacks involving pit bull dogs are more than any other breed. I'd have to look and see some data on that, but I believe the facts would back that up. Does that mean that they are a dangerous breed? No, maybe it means that they're bred by their owners to do certain things, to be more aggressive, to be attack dogs, to be fighting dogs, who knows? And again, we're not speaking about any situation particularly, simply as a rule. Let's go back to the phone lines. 241-1059. Hey, caller, how are you?
Hey.
Yes.
The problem in the area, I've been here for 10 years, and it's not so much that they're trained to attack, although they do a lot of pit bull fighting around here, and they train some dogs that way. I've done a lot of rescue work. I've only ever rescued 2 of them. They were both brindle females, and I made sure they were adopted out of state. They were family dogs. The one, both named Harley, one went to Virginia to a family who had another pit bull, and it was a young man and his mom and dad. His dad was disabled. They had her for 7 years. When he passed away, about 3 months later, their older pit bull attacked the younger pit bull to the point they had to take her to the emergency vet because she couldn't deal with him being gone. You can't explain that to a dog.
Right.
But she had never been fought, never been abused or anything. So they can snap. And it doesn't have to be something as dramatic as beating them or teaching them to fight. But here, a lot of the problem too is the breeding. I've seen this with Chihuahuas, and I've seen it with the Pit Bulls. Everybody around here wants to make a quick buck, and they will breed. They don't even care if they're related or anything. Now, there are a few people that want to hold a breed standard, but it doesn't seem to be a big deal here. It's more about the money than the standard of the breed.
So you have done some rescue work. So you've worked with animal control officials on some level. Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay. What's the general consensus, if you can speak to that, and I'll include yourself in this, the general consensus in that profession, is it like you say, do they agree with you that they are inherently dangerous no matter how they're trained?
Not necessarily. A lot of it is how they're handled around here. I mean, if you drive up and down, just go down North Side Drive and watch the young men walk the dogs, and you tell me who's walking who.
I got you. And that's one thing.
It's mostly a training. It's not a training to fight issue. It's a lack of training issue, and it's a lack of knowledge on a lot of the owners' part because they don't understand the breed. They don't understand what they're capable of, and they don't address the needs of the breed to make it compatible with society.
So what can be done about it? I mean, we see a situation like what happened yesterday, and you say to yourself, well, there's got to be something that can be done to make sure this doesn't happen again. Is it more training for the owners? Should they have to go through some type of required course or something like that nature, or should they be banned? I mean, from your eyes, what can be done about it?
It really just depends on the area.
Okay.
When I was up in Prince George County, they've banned the breed up there to the point that even in Upper Marlboro County, where they have a major dog show, they now won't have the dog show there because they won't allow the pit bull breed in, even just for the show. But what I've seen here in the last 10 years, like I said, it's a breeding issue. It's the dogs look cool, and the owners don't train them correctly. And then you do have the pit bull fighting, and that was why I would not do pit bull rescue, except for the two that were 6 weeks old, and I had to make sure they were adopted out of state.
Right. Okay.
Because they'll burn your house down. I'm sorry. That's why, even in animal control in the surrounding counties, I don't know about Lowndes, but in surrounding counties will tell you that. That's why they don't deal with them, because of that issue.
I see. Well, listen, thank you so much for the call, and we appreciate the work that you've done with them.
Well, thank you.
Have a great day.
You too. Bye.
241-1059 is our number. And again, I will admit I grew up with dogs. I grew up with pit bulls, as a matter of fact. But I am not a dog owner now, so I will certainly tip my cap to those who are and can give us more information. But I still think it's got to be a cross between the two. There's maybe sometimes that pit bulls may be more aggressive than other dogs. However, some of that does fall back too on how they're handled and how they're trained. Hey, caller, how are you?
Yes, fine.
What's on your mind?
A lot of your dog problems is owner responsibility. And unfortunately, a lot of people don't take that responsibility serious. There should be a reg out there requiring people who has, regardless of make a dog, a confined area, a fenced-in area, a secure area that they are required to keep that dog in. And if they don't, then they receive a hefty fine, and the dog is removed off the premises. You got service groups, you got corporate people going in yards, UPS going in yards, and you got these dogs out there who's being aggressive. They're sitting there waiting for an opportunity. So, something should be done, but it should be done on the responsibility of having the dog.
Right. So, okay, so you mean just for pit bull owners?
Well, if animal control, if you get a dog that's deemed aggressive by animal control, then steps should be taken to secure that dog. And if you don't secure that dog, then that dog's removed off the premises.
Gotcha. Okay.
And plus a good hefty fine for encouragement of the next person who challenges that rule.
Yeah. That kind of help reinforce it a little bit.
Yeah, you got, I talked to a UPS driver today, who delivers in that area, and he says he's always going in there, and he gets in a position where he has no escape route. If that dog, if the dog decides to charge, and he has to be there. He don't have no other alternative but to be at that residence.
Has he had some problems there?
No, he said, no. I was just talking to him because we're just friends, and he was asking him, about it because I'm connected to that family. And
to the family that has the dogs, or to the family?
To the family of the lady that got killed.
I got you.
And, going in the house and looking at her stepfather, and he just says, essentially, you just can't, there's no words to explain it, or no words of condolence here.
No. Mm.
And and they need to have a procedure out there to confine them dogs, or any dog. It doesn't matter what make a breed of dog it is. It should be confined.
Yeah. Hey, I appreciate your call, and please pass along our condolences to that family. I can't imagine what they're going through.
I will.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
We'll take one more call on this before we go to our next break. 241-1059 is our number. Hello, caller. Go ahead.
Well, I've been listening to the last caller and talking about confining the dogs no matter what, breed they are. And I don't agree with that at all.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, as long as you have a dog and you're a responsible owner and your dog is not aggressive toward people. We've owned dogs our whole life. I've never had one even bite a person.
Mm-hmm.
But I like having a dog that looks intimidating a little bit. It keeps unwanted people out of my yard when they don't need to belong there.
Mm-hmm.
We've had the UPS driver comes to our house, never had a problem. The meter man comes, never had a problem. But I know that if an unwanted person comes and they're aggressive toward us, that dog's going to protect me.
Right.
I don't want him confined.
Right. So when you see a situation which happened yesterday, which everyone will agree is a tragedy, are there ways to avoid that happening?
Well, I'm going to be very honest with you. Until I heard you talking about it, I didn't even know. I hadn't listened to any news today. I've been out of pocket. But, I don't know if it was an isolated incident. I have no idea. I don't know any of the circumstances on it.
Right.
But, I grew up with a pit bull also,
mm-hmm.
and she never hurt a fly,
mm-hmm.
never hurt anything. We've had all kind of dogs, and, I don't know what set this one off. I have no idea.
Right.
And it is a tragedy. Anytime anybody
Sure.
gets, that dies like that, and
right.
that's a tragedy. But I think to put a blanket regulation out there and give our government and to say, hey, we want you to control all the dogs and the owners, we better be careful what we're asking for with stuff like that.
Yeah, I think it's I think when something like that happens, or when people say there's a need for that, it rises out of situations like this. And so obviously, if you say, okay, that's enough, we've seen this time and time again, and I have no idea what the statistics are on how many attacks there have been. I know there have been some previously. They don't seem to be, terribly often, although really that doesn't matter when you see a situation like this. But at some point you say, okay, there's a cause, there's a need for a new regulation, so let's do this. And you just have to use good judgment. We'll wait and see if anything happens. So,
right.
Hey, I appreciate the call. Thanks for listening.
Thank you very much.
All right. 241-1059 is our number. We're going to take a quick break, come right back, more discussion on this and other topics as well on this Friday afternoon. It's the Chris Beckham Show, brought to you by Valdosta Toyota. News Talk 1059. This is WVGA.